I'm a drone pilot. I fly a bunch of different drones. I've got drones that fold up. I've got drones that you can put in your pocket. I've got drones that are safe, that I can fly around people without hurting them. And I've got drones that are scary and that'll cut your face off. So out of all of these drones, let me tell you why this drone is my new favorite drone. So this is the Emax tinyhawk 3 freestyle. This is a 2.5-inch open prop 2S analog bind and fly drone. Comes with a little AIO board with an ELRS receiver built onto it. Has a separate little VTX right here. I've changed the antenna. It will come with this antenna. I don't know what's wrong with this antenna. I've had 2 of these drones. My first one got returned. This is my second. They both come with this antenna. This antenna sucks. So I put this antenna on it, and now this thing's awesome. I get the full 200 milliwatts that I'm expecting. I can fly down to the end of my road and back without losing video. I can even go behind the house across the street without losing video on this drone now. So if you do end up picking up this little guy, make sure you pick up a spare antenna. This is some Amazon Sigma right hand coil direction, I believe is what. Oh, it's an iFlight. This is an iFlight. Oh, crappy camera quality. It's an iFlight antenna. They work good. The tinyhawk 3 freestyle comes with 2 2S batteries. These are or 2 1S batteries, I'm sorry. These are Emax 650 mAh 120C 1S LiPo batteries. It takes 2 of them to fly. You can fly at 1S. It comes with a little pluggy deal. I don't know where mine went, but it comes with a little JST jumper that you just plug into one side, and then you'll fly with 1 battery. I don't know why you would do that. 1S is but let's go outside and I'll show you how this thing flies. So the Emax tinyhawk 3 Plus freestyle. This little 2S drone, after you change the antenna, is going to be one of your most favorite little parking lot, workshop, anywhere that's got a few feet of headroom to fly. This is going to be your favorite drone to fly there. The 2S power off of this thing is going to just smoke any little 1S tiny whoop that you're used to flying, if that's what you're used to flying. And if you're used to flying bigger 5 or 3 or 3.5 inch drones, this little 2.5 inch pocket rocket will just, it feels a little more nimble in some places than like my big 5-inch Nazgul does, or my 3.5 inch cinewhoop. Here's some little guy walking on the sidewalk here. I'm trying not to scare him, but I also like to mess with people. So, but that's the good thing about this little tinyhawk, is it weighs next to nothing. Even fully loaded with 2 batteries on it, absolute ripping. You're hitting somebody with like 60 grams maybe. I'll actually pull my scale out and we'll weigh it here in a minute. Here I am chasing a little car. It's got plenty of pickup. Started to lose some video there, so I panicked and pulled out. But this little thing's fast. I mean, if you're chasing dogs or RC cars or something that's not, doing 140, you'll be able to catch up to them, and you'll be able to do the flips and rolls all around them. And there's me standing there. Camera quality's not bad. It's I believe it's a Caddx Ant on this absolute unit. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's a run cam. It is a run cam on the tinyhawk freestyle. Here I am chasing after this Mustang, so you can see it's got plenty of pep to it. Speed limit on my road's 25, but nobody goes 25 through here. So basically, if you've got a good little park to rip around or something like that, and you don't really want to fly your massive 5-inch, and the ducted stuff is just kind of boring, and really tiny whoops aren't good for anything if it's got any kind of wind at all outside. Chasing this Jeep down the road. Here I go almost all the way down to the stop sign. You can see my video's just solid the whole way through. Starting to lose some battery. Probably going to come into land here shortly. I'm narrating this flight afterwards. If y'all didn't notice, I did not think to narrate while I was actually flying. Sometimes I like to just go out and rip. But yeah, this thing's fun if you want to learn how to fly, or if you're already learning and you're kind of thinking, wow, this 1S tinywhoop, maybe you picked up a Cetus Pro or something and thinking, wow, this thing's not really all that quick. Well, the tinyhawk 3 freestyle, that'll definitely pick it up the pace for you here. It's a good little drone, solid little park ripper. If you've got a case like the Beta FPV, if you did pick up that Cetus Pro and you've got the Beta FPV case, you can use that case. It actually fits perfectly in the drone compartment for the Cetus case, or the Aquila 16 case is what I had. So I used the Beta FPV Light Radio 2 SE ELRS version. A little bit of breakup there, but I'm all the way behind me and behind my house, so not really mad at the drone there. But I use the ELRS Light Radio 2 SE from Beta FPV, and I was using their goggles, I believe. Oh no, I was recording this in my EV800s. But if you do have the Beta FPV stuff, like the ELRS controller and their VR3 goggles, yeah, this thing fits perfectly in that case, and it's honestly, it rides around in my truck with me most days. You see my work truck there, so if I end up sitting somewhere with nothing better to do, I'll crank up and fly. I don't care. But yeah, it flies great. I love it. It's a solid little 2S ripper. I wouldn't really fly it indoors unless you're really, really good, because it is an open prop. It can chew up some stuff. I wouldn't want to get hit with it with those little 2.5-inch blades spinning like they are. I mean, you see it's got some pep to it. I suck at Rubik's Cubes. It will not make you... It won't make a bad pilot a great pilot, but it will make a good pilot a better pilot. It's a fun drone. Pick one up, $200. Can't really beat it. We are on crotch cam now, so we can weigh this little thing. So, turn her on. Ignore my scale. Legal things only. Let's go ahead and throw some batteries on here to pick it up so I can actually weigh it. Batteries are 31 grams. See if we can't balance the drone on here. 92.6 grams total. So, if you bash this thing into your head, it's gonna hurt. These little blades props on this thing, they are sharp, they are pointy, they will cut you. Don't crash into people. That's my suggestion. But let's go back up to the top cam and talk some more. And we're back up top to this ugly mug again. Let's talk about the tinyhawk 3 Plus Freestyle. Should you buy it? I want to say yes. And it is my favorite drone. And I did buy it. I paid my own $200 for this drone, and then I had to pay my own $10 for this antenna here. And that's the only things that I've done to it. And this drone is really, really fun. I wish they would fix it. I wish it came with a better antenna. Something that doesn't break up. This thing, it flies like it's in pit mode. I can't get more than 5 feet away from me with this antenna. So this is crap. Throw this away. Get you a decent iFlight right-hand coil antenna. I don't know. This might be left-hand or something. LHCP, LCHP, whatever. Or LHCP. So I'm assuming this is left-hand, this is right-hand. Most goggles are right-hand, I believe. I know that my EV800s right here, both of those are right-handed, and my Beta FPV goggles back there, those are also right-hand. So I'm assuming this antenna is probably for the Emax transporter goggles, or the whatever their shitty analog goggles are. But I'm assuming that's what it's for, and it probably works great if you have those goggles. So if you're already on the whole Emax setup, you've got an ELRS controller, you've got the Emax goggles that are probably going to work with this thing, go ahead and dive into it. If you've got the extra $220 to go ahead and buy the drone plus a new antenna, go ahead and do it. If this is your first drone and you've never done any work on any drones before, I probably wouldn't get it. I'd probably go for, I say my Cetus, but this is far from a regular Cetus Pro anymore. I'd say go for something smaller like a tinywhoop, something ducted that you can crash into your cat or whatever before you go out and start ripping, and definitely before you upgrade to something like a Nazgul or another big GEP RC 5-inch, something like that. I definitely say start small. Start with something like the Cetus. Don't get the Aquila. The Aquila was trash. That's why mine is gutted. Start small, build up, but I really want to recommend this to people, but it's hard to recommend something that you have to fix out of the box because it probably won't work with your regular analog goggles until you change the antenna. So it's hard to say, go out and buy one right now, but it's also really hard to tell you don't buy it, it's junk, because it's not junk. This thing absolutely rips. You saw in that video, I'm power looping power lines like it's nothing with a third of my battery left. Like, it's a hard pill to swallow, but at the end of the day, you make your own choice, and whatever you choose, as long as you've got a big old goofy smile on your face while this thing's up in the air, or while this thing's up in the air, or while this thing's up in the air, or hell, while this crappy thing's up in the air. As long as you're happy with what you've got, then you're doing it right. So y'all go ahead and have yourselves a wonderful day.
She just wanna lay down, face down, wonder what my mind like, wonder what my mind like, wonder what my mind like, wonder what my mind like.